Every few years, something arrives that challenges what we think a vehicle can be. Something that refuses to fit into a neat category. Something that makes people turn their heads on the freeway and ask, what is that thing? It is more than transport. It is statement, spectacle, and experiment rolled into one. In an age where efficiency and restraint dominate design, one machine dares to go the other way, embracing scale, comfort, and unapologetic capability. It represents both the pinnacle and paradox of modern engineering. Massive yet mobile, luxurious yet utilitarian, polarizing yet irresistible. Its arrival signals that adventure and excess can still coexist on the same highway, that the dream of total independence on wheels is alive and growing louder. Today, we dive deep into that phenomenon. The vehicle that turned every rest stop into a conversation and every road into its own country. Before we get rolling, hit like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments which machine you want to see featured next. The Nexus Maximus 34MX 2026 Ford F-650 enters the scene not quietly but with authority. A vehicle so large it feels like it should come with its own zip code. Built on the commercial F-650 chassis, this machine bridges the world of heavy-duty trucking and luxury RV design. At first glance, the proportions seem impossible. Its sheer height and length dwarf everything else at a highway rest area. Yet the story of how it came to exist begins years earlier, when the lines between work trucks and recreational vehicles started to blur. Buyers wanted the rugged durability of industrial platforms combined with the comfort of high-end living quarters. And the Nexus Maximus 34MX 2026 Ford F-650 was engineered to meet that demand. The development process began inside Ford's heavy-duty program, where engineers recognized that the growing remote work culture and off-grid lifestyles were redefining what people wanted from a road vehicle. They saw a market hungry for autonomy, for the ability to travel anywhere while carrying every amenity imaginable. The foundation was the proven F-650, a platform used for towing, hauling, and vocational tasks. But to turn it into a home on wheels, Ford collaborated with Nexus RV, specialists in luxury motorhome construction. The result was a chassis cab capable of supporting a 34-foot body, complete with a full living suite, solar array, and advanced climate systems. Powering the Nexus Maximus 34MX 2026 Ford F-650 is a 6.7-liter Power-stroke diesel V8, delivering massive torque figures suited for hauling its own 26,000-pound frame across mountain passes. Unlike typical RVs built on lighter platforms, this model offers commercial-grade brakes, reinforced axles, and a transmission tuned for endurance under extreme load. That combination allows it to tow additional vehicles, carry motorcycles or ATVs in an integrated rear garage, and maintain composure over long distances. But the performance is only part of the story. Step inside, and you enter an environment that looks more like a boutique apartment than a motorhome. Designers focused on creating a space that blurs the boundary between luxury residence and expedition vehicle. High-end fixtures, induction cooking, automated lighting, and satellite connectivity make it a self-contained mobile base. Every surface, from the leather seating to the engineered wood floors, was chosen to withstand vibration and temperature swings while maintaining a premium feel. The Nexus Maximus 34MX 2026 Ford F-650 also integrates smart control systems that allow owners to manage power usage, water filtration, and temperature from a single touchscreen or smartphone app. This fusion of technology and muscle makes it unlike any previous RV truck hybrid. The challenge, of course, lies in balancing that ambition with practicality. Its size limits access to certain campgrounds, and parking in urban areas is almost impossible. Yet for many buyers, that is not a drawback but part of the appeal. It is a symbol of going beyond ordinary boundaries. The owners who line up for the Nexus Maximus 34MX 2026 Ford F-650 are not casual weekend campers. They are entrepreneurs, remote workers, or adventure enthusiasts who see mobility as independence. They are drawn to the idea of living anywhere without compromise, of having a king-size bed and full bathroom wherever the road leads. This desire for self-sufficiency grew rapidly after 2020, as remote work and digital nomad culture expanded across the US. The rise of solar technology and lithium-ion battery systems made off-grid living more realistic than ever before. The 34MX taps directly into that momentum, offering a vehicle that can sustain life for weeks without external hookups. Under the body, modular storage compartments and reinforced outriggers maintain balance while holding everything from spare tires to freshwater tanks. Its integrated solar panels feed a 15-kilowatt power management system, capable of running air conditioning and appliances simultaneously. For long-term travelers, that means fewer compromises and greater confidence on the open road. The Nexus Maximus 34MX 2026 Ford F650 is, at its core, a study in scale. Every element has been amplified. The engine, the structure, the comfort, the ambition. It is designed for those who look at the horizon and see not distance but opportunity. Yet the sheer audacity of this design raises questions about sustainability, fuel use, and cultural values. Can a machine this large coexist with the growing push for greener transportation? Can an icon of excess still represent freedom in an age focused on restraint? These tensions define the narrative around the 34MX and set the stage for understanding its deeper cultural impact. As we move forward, the next step is to examine why this extraordinary vehicle resonates so powerfully, what forces made it possible, and how it became both a symbol of innovation and a lightning rod for debate. Next, we look at the forces that shaped the Nexus Maximus 34MX 2026 Ford F650, and why it sits at the crossroads of ambition and controversy. The Nexus Maximus 34MX 2026 Ford F650 exists because of a perfect storm of trends converging in the American automotive landscape. Over the past decade, consumers have increasingly demanded vehicles that do more than move them. They want platforms that support entire lifestyles. Pickup trucks grew larger, SUVs became rolling living rooms, and motorhomes evolved into mobile command centers. The 34MX is the culmination of that evolution. It embodies the idea that mobility equals control, and control equals freedom. Yet behind that dream sits a complex web of economics, engineering, and social identity. The creation of the Nexus Maximus 34MX 2026 Ford F650 was driven by market signals indicating that buyers were no longer satisfied with ordinary RVs. Traditional Class C models offered comfort but lacked the power and durability for extended off-grid use. Luxury coaches provided opulence but were limited by fragile components and poor ground clearance. Ford recognized a gap, a segment of consumers who wanted industrial-grade reliability with 5-star amenities. These were buyers who viewed the open road as both escape and enterprise, often using their vehicles as mobile offices, workshops, or studios. To meet that demand, engineers began adapting the F650 platform, known for its service in towing fleets and construction. Reinforced suspension components, oversized disc brakes, and an Allison automatic transmission were retained, ensuring that the Nexus Maximus 34MX 2026 Ford F650 could sustain heavy loads across long distances. The collaboration with Nexus RV was crucial. They brought expertise in maximizing livable space without sacrificing structural integrity. Every inch inside the 34MX was designed for dual-purpose function. The dining area converts to a workspace, the lounge becomes a sleeping zone, and the kitchen hides advanced utilities beneath minimalist finishes. The message was clear. This is not a weekend camper. It is a mobile habitat engineered for permanence. What makes the Nexus Maximus 34MX 2026 Ford F650 controversial is how it redefines practicality. It challenges conventional ideas of responsible travel. Environmental advocates argue that vehicles of this size contribute to increased fuel consumption and road wear, while supporters counter that its self-sufficiency offsets traditional resource usage. The onboard solar system, water recycling setup, and high-efficiency insulation mean that owners can stay off-grid longer, consuming less infrastructure-based energy over time. Both sides have valid points, which makes the 34MX a lightning rod for debate about modern mobility ethics. Beyond efficiency, there is a psychological component. The sheer scale of the Nexus Maximus 34MX 2026 Ford F650 conveys dominance and security, qualities that appeal to a culture that values independence. In a world of uncertainty, owning a vehicle capable of powering, housing, and protecting you anywhere carries emotional weight. It becomes a rolling fortress against unpredictability. Social media amplified this perception. Videos of owners parking their 34MX units beside oceans, forests, and deserts went viral, cementing the image of limitless freedom. For many viewers, that vision was aspirational. For others, it represented excess. Dealers reported that each incoming shipment of the Nexus Maximus 34MX 2026 Ford F-650 sold out within weeks despite its high cost. The waiting list extended into the following year, proving that desire for scale remains alive in the American imagination. Economically, this demand reflects broader trends. Rising property prices and remote work flexibility have pushed consumers toward mobile living. The ability to relocate without sacrificing comfort makes vehicles like the 34MX an attractive investment. Buyers justify the cost by comparing it to a mortgage-free lifestyle with built-in travel potential. Manufacturers have noticed, leading to speculation about whether similar heavy-duty hybrids could become a new segment in the market. Engineers studying the Nexus Maximus 34MX 2026 Ford F-650 note its unusual balance of strength and refinement. The frame is designed to handle torsional stress typically reserved for vocational trucks. Advanced vibration dampers and sound insulation reduce cabin noise to luxury sedan levels. The aerodynamic fairings may appear decorative, but they reduce drag at highway speeds, improving fuel efficiency by several percentage points compared to older RV truck conversions. This fusion of industrial durability and comfort is what separates it from imitators. Yet with innovation comes complexity. Maintenance on a vehicle like the Nexus Maximus 34MX 2026 Ford F-650 requires specialized service centers equipped for both diesel powertrains and residential systems. Owners must understand both automotive and home utility maintenance, blending two traditionally separate domains. Despite that, most buyers accept the trade-off. They view the learning curve as part of the adventure. In cultural terms, the 34MX reflects a broader American narrative: the pursuit of autonomy. It mirrors historical cycles where frontier expansion met industrial capability, where personal space and mobility symbolized success. Every generation has its freedom machine, and for this one, the Nexus Maximus 34MX 2026 Ford F-650 might be it. However, that symbolism cuts both ways. To some, it represents innovation. To others, indulgence. Whether admired or criticized, it sparks conversation, and that is what keeps it relevant. As we look ahead, the next chapter lies not in how big or luxurious the 34MX can become, but in what it means for the future of travel and sustainability. Next, we explore how the Nexus Maximus 34MX 2026 Ford F-650 is changing the definition of mobility, and what its legacy might say about the next era of road living. The Nexus Maximus 34MX 2026 Ford F-650 has already begun shaping expectations for the future of personal mobility. Its sheer presence on the road has triggered responses from city planners, regulators, and rival manufacturers alike. Highways built for standard vehicles must now accommodate rolling fortresses that weigh as much as medium-duty trucks yet carry the comforts of a high-end condo. Municipalities are debating parking allowances and emissions zoning for oversized recreational vehicles, while state legislators consider new licensing requirements for operators. In many ways, the 34MX functions as a catalyst. It forces infrastructure and policy to evolve in real time. Beyond logistics, the cultural shift is even more striking. The Nexus Maximus 34MX 2026 Ford F-650 has become a visual shorthand for the self-sufficient lifestyle movement. Owners film cross-country journeys where Wi-Fi, electricity, and comfort follow them seamlessly. In those stories, the 34MX becomes a symbol of liberation from conventional living patterns. Yet it also reveals how freedom and responsibility intertwine. A vehicle of this magnitude demands awareness of its impact. It consumes resources, commands attention, and alters the spaces it visits. For every admirer who calls it the future of travel, there is a critic who sees it as a monument to excess. That tension gives the Nexus Maximus 34MX 2026 Ford F-650 its enduring relevance. It invites conversation about what progress really means when scale becomes part of identity. The engineering itself tells a story of ambition tempered by pragmatism. Designers sought to make the 34MX not only powerful but adaptable to changing environmental standards. Future variants are expected to feature hybrid assistance, capturing energy during braking and supplementing diesel output with electric torque. The goal is to preserve range while reducing emissions. Inside, modular components can be upgraded or replaced as technology advances, extending the vehicle's life cycle. Owners are encouraged to treat it not as a disposable product but as an evolving investment. In that sense, the Nexus Maximus 34MX 2026 Ford F650 aligns with emerging trends toward sustainable luxury, where longevity and efficiency hold as much prestige as performance. The economic ripple effect is also significant. Entire industries orbit around machines like the 34MX. Specialist service providers, custom fabricators, and accessory makers have built new business models catering to heavy-duty recreational owners. Campgrounds now advertise extended-length sites with reinforced pads, and charging networks explore how to support large-capacity electrical systems. Even insurance firms are adapting their policies to reflect the hybrid classification of truck and motorhome. The 34MX acts as both product and ecosystem starter, generating opportunities far beyond its own production line. For Ford and Nexus RV, the challenge now is managing expectations. Demand has already outpaced supply, and maintaining quality across each custom build is essential. Every Nexus Maximus 34MX 2026 Ford F650 is assembled with meticulous precision, from the welds on its ladder frame to the stitching on its seating. Buyers expect perfection, and with a price tag in the upper six figures, they receive not only a vehicle but a statement piece. In marketing terms, it has redefined what the top of the RV market looks like. Traditional Class A motorhomes once held that crown. Now the hybrid truck architecture of the 34MX stands as a new benchmark. Yet beyond prestige lies a practical truth. This vehicle showcases how engineering ambition can inspire societal introspection. It raises questions about the balance between personal liberty and shared responsibility. Should innovation prioritize comfort or conservation? Should freedom be measured by distance traveled or resources preserved? The Nexus Maximus 34MX 2026 Ford F650 does not answer these questions. It embodies them. Each mile driven is both achievement and inquiry. It reminds us that technology, however advanced, still reflects the values of those who create and use it. From an automotive perspective, the 34MX proves that even established platforms can evolve into something visionary. By reimagining the F650 chassis for a completely different purpose, engineers demonstrated that progress does not always require starting from scratch. It can arise from bold reinterpretation of existing tools. This lesson will likely influence future design strategies across the industry. Already, concept vehicles inspired by the 34MX hint at electrified heavy-duty RV hybrids, using modular architecture and renewable materials. The legacy of this model may not be measured only by units sold, but by the direction it points the industry toward. As the Nexus Maximus 34MX 2026 Ford F650 continues to roll across highways and through headlines, it symbolizes the ongoing dialogue between power and purpose. It challenges each observer to decide whether mobility's next frontier is defined by size, sustainability, or something entirely new. In our final segment, we look back at what this extraordinary machine has taught us, and what its story reveals about the road ahead for human ingenuity. The journey of the Nexus Maximus 34MX 2026 Ford F650 tells us more than just how a truck became a motorhome. It reveals how culture, technology, and aspiration intersect on the open road. This vehicle began as an engineering experiment, an attempt to merge the brute strength of a commercial platform with the refinement of luxury design. What emerged was something larger than either concept alone. A rolling expression of independence at a time when people crave control over their environment and their time. The Nexus Maximus 34MX 2026 Ford F650 captures that sentiment in physical form. Its steel, glass, and diesel heartbeat echo a modern desire to move freely without compromise. Yet its significance extends beyond its physical dimensions. It has become a mirror reflecting the contradictions of modern progress. For every admirer who sees innovation, there is a skeptic who sees indulgence. The truth lies somewhere between. The 34MX is not simply a product. It is a question on wheels. It asks how far society is willing to push personal mobility, and what we are prepared to give up in pursuit of absolute freedom. At the same time, it reminds us of the enduring power of craftsmanship. Every weld, circuit, and bolt represents the work of engineers and artisans who believe that form and function can coexist even at monumental scale. Whether viewed as a symbol of ingenuity or extravagance, the Nexus Maximus 34MX 2026 Ford F-650 reaffirms that the spirit of innovation is alive in American manufacturing. It stands as proof that ambition still has a place on the highway, that adventure can be both comfortable and challenging, that luxury can inspire responsibility as well as enjoyment. In the years ahead, as electric and hybrid technologies reshape the market, the legacy of the 34MX will likely evolve. Future versions may rely less on diesel and more on renewable energy, but the core idea will remain: the desire to own a piece of mobility so complete it becomes a home, a workplace, and a declaration of autonomy. When historians of transportation look back on this era, they may see the Nexus Maximus 34MX 2026 Ford F-650 as the bridge between traditional motorhomes and the self-sufficient mobile habitats of tomorrow. It is both culmination and transition point, showing that even as priorities shift, the pursuit of freedom on four wheels endures. The road ahead will test new technologies and redefine sustainability, but it will also continue to test imagination. That, perhaps, is the most lasting message of the 34MX. Progress is not about building smaller dreams, but about building smarter ones. So as this massive RV truck hybrid continues to turn heads and spark debate, it serves as a reminder that the story of mobility is never finished. It keeps evolving with every generation, every journey, and every traveler bold enough to chase the horizon.